People.
2020. Look, hey, what day is this? This is Saturday, November 7th. We still don't have a president yet. So maybe by the time the summit starts, we'll have a president. But we're in different times. That's why we got to make statements.
What's cracking, people? It's your man Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, representing high-level technicians operating globally and beyond. So listen, today I wanted to do my official review of the 2020 November edition of the Self-Improvement Summit 2.0, as it's been officially labeled. So first of all, many thanks to everyone who contributed and put their time, energy, efforts, and resources into making this another successful mission. Shout out to Boogie, of course, and the Dom Game Division. Shout out to the support from the House of Technicians, aka the Patreon side. Shout out to the Field Master, Ron Wills, of course. Shout out to Frank, aka View from the Man Cave. Definitely shout out to our assistants. And of course, front and center, a big thanks, a big show of gratitude and a salute goes out to the attendees, the men and women who put in the resources and time and energy to make their way to the nation's capital in order to be in attendance to what is now a historic event. This is history. It's another one in the books. And it is another stone in the walkway of this path. What happened at this particular installation of the Self-Improvement Summit is something that's quite remarkable. And what I want to do here is just give you an overview and just build a brief timeline that led up to the actual in-person, in-depth session that we had on November 7th, 2020. Now, first and foremost, my absolute favorite place was visited before any of the activities took place. That, of course, was the sanctuary, aka the gym. Now, the gym at the hotel would not let us be great. It was closed due to restrictions, but fortunately, we found one in the area that was accommodating and able to take care of our pre-summit session. And the field master joined me for what I like to refer to as, and other trainers refer to as, call-out sessions. And what happens with call-outs is we each take turns calling out an exercise that the other one needs to participate with. So in this case, Ram called out variations of dumbbell presses, goblet squats, and things like that. I called out a superset that I like to do. I call it a 3-piece with mouse, also known in Chicago, but shout out to the DMB. I called it the 3-piece with mambo sauce for the occasion. These videos I will put up definitely on the Patreon, and I'll post some clips to the IG account. Moving on from that, after we were done lifting weights, we had a conversation, just a very candid and open conversation about topics ranging from what body game means to me, to Ron, also topics like men's health, well-being, what the future of game will look like, and really just how we will relate to each other going forward. The more that we have these important conversations that evolve our thinking, that refine the way that we view each other, and how we navigate our path of masculine mastery. Moving on, after getting suited and booted, we were well on our way to the classroom to present what we had prepared for our awaiting audience at the Self-Improvement Summit 2.0. Now, the summit got underway with introductions by none other than Boogie, of course, and the format was laid out for the audience. And after opening remarks and sharing the updates from the previous summit in February, I know it's still hard to believe, it seems like 2020 has lasted 4 years, but from the previous Self-Improvement Summit in February, fast forwarding up to now in November, Boogie dropped his first book, so now we can add author to his list of accomplishments. And I can say that I had the privilege of providing the foreword for the book, Overcoming Your Fears. Salute to Boogie once again for that. Next, we had Frank, aka View from the Man Cave, who gave a great presentation in terms of modern relationships from the perspective of a married man in this ever-shifting climate. Great presentation and wonderful insight, actually. I'm going to leave a link to his channel down below. And so after that, we had an intermission and we got ready for the second half of presentations for the Self-Improvement Summit 2.0. Now it was my turn to present, and the time that was allotted, I had to pretty much condense the information that I had. I was prepared for maybe 2 or 3 days worth of talking. And no joke, Rom can testify to that. He had about 5 days worth of information, but fortunately, I was able to get in a good chunk of insight that I'd like to reserve for the higher levels of my Patreon. And actually, shout out to the Patreon subscribers who were in the audience. As I was going through some of the steps included in the presentation, they were able to call out some of the elements that I had began presenting at the higher levels of my Patreon. And what I did at the summit was give a broader blueprint of what I'm breaking down, piece by piece at the higher level of my Patreon. And the presentation that I gave at the summit will be posted on my Patreon, so stay tuned for that. Also stay tuned for the workouts and the after chat that Ramos and I had as well over on the Patreon side. Now finally, we had none other than the Field Master himself give a top-notch presentation, including handouts that I still have here with me back in Chicago. Very in-depth, very informative, very thought-provoking in terms of how you approach the mental state of someone that you hope to have a relationship with at a certain point in time, or may already be in a relationship with. But what I really took away from that was that he included healing approaches for that. I'm very big on that. Of course, I included that aspect in my book, and that's something that's being presented and preached a lot in this space, more and more. Obviously, Boogie with the mental health healing piece of it. So that was a very, very great way to tie all of the information from the presenters together. And then after that, we had what is one of my favorite parts of any discussion, and that is the Q&A with the audience. There were so many great questions that were asked and that we were able to dialogue with the audience about, just based on the information that we presented, which tells us that everybody paid attention, everyone took notes, everybody had a personal connection to the information that was being presented by the group of presenters. And shout out to the Select Manosphere. We had a few select questions from the audience that only select men would understand and could appreciate and ask. So I definitely appreciated that aspect of it. So for all my pre-select guys and my non-select guys who are on their path of progress and refinement and finding their signature self, just understand that everybody has challenges on their journey in their path of masculine mastery. But at the end of the day, we can all get together and have a collaborative event, an informative and great time sharing information. So once we wrapped up the Q&A session and we cleaned up the area, we had the after event. Now, this particular installation of the summit was different in that we did not do the traditional hangout, meet and greet at a lounge because, you know, of restrictions of the current climate that we find ourselves in. But we were at a good spot. You know, we were able to enjoy the festivities, have drinks and good food with the group, and, you know, have some great fellowship with like-minded individuals. Chop it up as the masters, hung out with our assistants, and then got ready to head back. Revitalized. This is our version of the faith-based revivals that would happen from time to time under the big tent. This is our version of the revivals. This is the revival of the timeless energy of our ancestors. This is the revival of doing it for the culture. This is the revival of masculine mastery. As I said before, all of the associated links and the channel links will be in the description down below for all of the behind the scene footage, all of the workouts and the post-workout conversation that I had with the Field Master Ron Wills, and the presentation that I gave at the Self-Improvement Summit 2.0 will be on the Patreon. And as always, this is your man Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, saying stay sharp and mission focused. Later.